Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Let's talk about why you need to choose women who make your life easier. So let's talk a little bit about women as it pertains to their career and their challenging nature that they pose to men nowadays, right? So you see a lot of women in debates now. Obviously we have Fresh and Fit. We have a lot of women podcasts now that, you know, sort of stir the pot when it comes to what it means to be in a relationship, what it means to be in a career, a mother, etc. Right? So let's get some clarity on that, and let's make sense of the situation so you can put your best foot forward when it comes to dating women. So women who prioritize a career, why do they, let's ask that question. Why do women prioritize a career? Why would they, we speak all the time of their innate qualities of being a mother and a nurturer and, a caretaker of her man and of her home and of her children, right? So we speak of that a lot, right? As an innate quality. But you have to understand, right? I've spoken about this numerous times and I'll repeat it again, but the reason why women feel a desire to be in a career is due to the fact that they don't trust modern man. They don't trust us as it pertains to our ability to provide, right? Because like I said, most attractive women, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, when they go out, when they're in, they go to university, think of universities, right? You see a lot of docile men, you see a lot of men who are pushovers, they're weak, they're flabby, they're feminine, right? They're soy boys kind of. And then, so you have that aspect of it. When she's in university, she's not getting exposed to a real man. When she goes to the clubs, she's not getting exposed to true masculine men, right? Because most men who go to clubs are, I'm not saying there's no men that are valuable or, there's no good men in the clubs. But what I'm saying is a lot of men who go to clubs, right? They're trying to get laid, but, they hit on her or they creep her out, they stare, right? Maybe they touch her awkwardly or they buy her a drink and make her feel entitled, like she's worth more than she actually is, right? So at the end of the day, a woman is interested in a career not by necessity, but by it's by a necessity, but it's a new necessity. Meaning, back then we understood, 100 years ago, 200-300 years ago, right? It wasn't up until recently that we started to change our relationship dynamics where now a woman can provide and a man can be stay at home or whatever. So we have kind of usurped our roles as men and women in relationships. And one thing I notice is that the reason why women prioritize a career is because there's just not very many men like that can provide. If you want to have a family of 2 or 3, there's a good chance you're going to need to make at least 6 figures, right? And like I said in a previous video, only about 20% of residents in the United States make $100,000 a year or more, right? So there's already a very low percentage of men who can be providers in the first place. So it's not like we have an adequate number of men who can provide, right? And it's also said that since the beginning of time, only 40% of all existing men ages 18 to 60 reproduced, right? So 40% is better than 20%, but now it's sort of getting worse in the sense where there's less men that are able to be providers and be adequate husbands, boyfriends, whatever. So now women feel like I have to be the man, because if I'm not going to be the man, I can't trust the man to fill his role and do what he needs to do to protect me, right? So I think a lot of women want to be stay-at-home moms. They want to, be attentive to their children. They want to be caretakers. They want to be submissive. They want to follow a man's lead. But, think of, there's not a lot of men that are worth that. There's not a lot of men that exhibit traits that demand submissiveness from women. There's not a lot, think of how many, walk in public, go to a library, go to a university, go to a mall, go to a fast food restaurant, go outside, go anywhere, go in a gas station, go to a grocery store. How many guys do you look at and can say that's a real man. Most guys are flabby. Most guys dress awkwardly, dress poorly. Most guys have bad hygiene. They don't have a clean cut. Their face, like, you know, they got pimples on their face. They got yellow teeth. They're weird. They're awkward, right? So you got to think about it, right? If you're a woman, of course you're going to just naturally, just as a byproduct of you existing in modern society, prioritize your career, because you deep down know, as you progress year to year, you look around and you don't see real men. So you're like, okay, I got to take this into my own hands. I got to, go to school for 8 years. I got to become a doctor. I got to become a lawyer. I got to rise the ranks in this corporate job, just so I can, provide for myself and potentially provide for a family, right? And like I said, women, they do it, and they, but they do it, and they can do it, right? I'm not saying they can't do it. I never want to say like someone can't, like a woman shouldn't or a woman can't. Is it their best option? Maybe in the meantime, but they're not happy, right? They're not happy doing these jobs. And why I can say that? I work in a corporate setting. I work and I see and I speak with women who are general managers, women who are in higher ranks in corporate. And I can tell you, they seem miserable most of the time. They're always stressed out. They're always, not complaining, but they're always like, damn, like this job's hard. Like I wish I didn't really have to do this, right? So they're not necessarily designed to go out there and do all this labor and difficult things in the workplace. But, nowadays they have no choice, because it's either, I feel like their mindset is like, hey, it's either I go out and advance in my career, prioritize my career, and make enough money so when I do meet a man, maybe he is a good man or maybe he's not, but if I meet a man, I start dating, if he leaves me, now I can provide for an offspring if we have a family, right? So at the end of the day, I don't think it's a bad thing. But here's the thing, as a man, even, like I said, I'm kind of praising women here, so don't misinterpret my praising them as me simping. I'm not simping. I'm just explaining a phenomenon. As a man, you don't want this type of woman, and let me tell you why. Women who are in careers or prioritize their career over a good period of time, they start to develop masculine traits. So they start to become more assertive. They start to become more decisive. They start to become, what's the word? Like non-agreeable. They become more masculine, right? So as they do this, as they get more into their career, as they get deeper into their studies in school, they begin to, like I said, develop more masculine traits. So as a man, right, if you're a man and you're going at it, it's your career and you're doing your thing, right, you're getting in the gym, you're building your business, when you come across one of these women, right, you guys are going to bump heads, right? You guys are naturally going to bump heads, because you guys both possess an overly masculine essence, right? And there's two people who are the same cannot exist in a relationship, right? They say opposites attract, and that's for a reason, right? Like I said, if you both are prioritizing your career, right, and you guys both want a family, well, sooner or later, whether it's a year, 2 or 3 years, right, you guys are going to get sick of fighting over who is going to pick up the kids, who's going to take them to baseball practice, who's going to take them to cheer practice, or whatever it is. And one of you guys at some point is either going to do one of two things. Going to have to do one of two things. She or you is going to either have to end the relationship. That's number one. Or number two, one of you guys is going to have to drop your career, right? And you, as a man, right, if you find yourself in this situation, you are not going to be the one to drop your career. It's going to have to be her. So, like I said, the reason why you don't want to date women who make a lot of money and prioritize their career is because of that fact that she's prioritized her career for so long. And, you're going to have to pose her with a choice eventually, because like I said, you can't, I don't care what anyone says, unless you hire people to take care of your kids or whatever. I don't know. I really don't see it work. There's no possible way you guys can coexist like that, right? this, you know, switching off constantly. You pick them up, no, you pick them up, no, you pick the kid up, no, you make dinner. It doesn't work that way. It's either we each have our role, and we do our role completely 100% all the time. So if you're cooking and you're cleaning, you're cooking and cleaning all the time. If I'm working all the time. If I'm providing all the time, right? So you have to realize that there is no dating career woman. There is no taking them seriously, unless, like I said, there is the possibility that you guys get to a point where you say, hey, you drop your career and we make this thing work out. Because like I said, if she doesn't want to drop her career, if she wants to prioritize her career over you, your needs and the family's needs, then that's not a woman you want, right? Because that's going to make your life miserable, right? Men are not, I don't care what anyone says, men are not designed to be stay-at-home dads. This is a very new archetype that's kind of like seen an uprise over the past 20 years, but it doesn't work, right? In 99% of cases, 90% of the time, it doesn't work. So with that being said, I think it's best you avoid these women. Am I saying that you can't make it work out? That you might not, that the woman might not be an exception, that she might become more feminine over time, even if she prioritizes her career to some degree right now? Of course not. Of course not. But let's go off possibility, probability, and likelihood. The likelihood of you staying in a successful relationship with a woman who's prioritized her career, and like I said, especially if you're a masculine man, you're a conquering man, you are a man on a mission, there is a very slim chance that it's going to work out. But I like I said, I don't want to say never, but just the likelihood of it working out is very slim in the long run. So yeah, that's why you shouldn't date career women, guys. I mean, you know, like I said, there's a reason for it, and I'm not mad at women. I never want to seem, guys, when I make these videos, don't make it seem like I don't want to make it seem like I'm hateful towards women. I don't want, you know, even or if you're a woman watching this, I don't hate women. So I never want to make it seem like I'm throwing shots at women, or I'm trying to say what they're doing is wrong and anything they do is no good. I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just trying to explain a dynamic, and I'm trying to explain things through a biological and spiritual sense. And you know, in this dynamic, provider and caretaker, the man 90% of the time needs to be the provider, and the woman 90% of the time needs to be the caretaker. And if not, things go south, fights start to happen, divorce, breakups, arguments, right? And like I said, that's no way to live, right? And here's the thing, right? As a man, right, I know a lot of guys who like trophy wives. I know a lot of guys who say they like career women. They want an RN, they want a nurse. You know, one of my buddies, he's always talking about how he wants a nurse, how he wants an RN. And I'm like, listen, man, he's one of my good buddies. I tell him all the time. I say, hey, bro, do you know what that comes with? And he's like, nah, man, I need a woman to match my energy. You know, a lot of these women don't have a car. They don't have things to offer. And it's like, you know, like I said, to a degree, I see his perspective. But until you get into a relationship with these women, you don't know. So it might sound good on the surface. Yeah, man, she makes her money. She does this. She's a go-getter. You know, that's good and fine and dandy. But once you get into a relationship and once you have kids, you know, later on, that might not be conducive to what you have going on. So, you know, and if you're a guy, think about it, right? If you're in the world, dealing with the world, you're dealing with your employees, you're dealing with customers, or you're working on projects, whatever you're, you know, as a businessman, maybe you're in construction or whatever you do, right? That's difficult, right? It requires attention, it requires labor, and it requires decisiveness, assertiveness, all the masculine traits, right? Do you really think, you know, that men want to go home, right, after a long, arduous day of, you know, doing difficult things in the workplace, to a woman who's got home from work as well, and now she's asking, she's also being difficult now? Men don't want that. Men do not want that. We have enough things to deal with, right? And like I said, it's up to you to be a provider and make all that money so that you can demand the submissiveness. But at the end of the day, the reason you don't want to have a career woman is because, like I said, she's going to challenge you. right? No matter how good you are in the workplace, if you guys make the same amount of money or you barely make more than her, she is going to constantly challenge you, right? And that assertive personality is not conducive to men, right? We get annoyed by that. We get pissed off. And that's when men do stupid things like cheat. That's when we verbally or physically abuse our women, because we don't like that shit, right? And when that anger and that frustration builds up from experiencing that on a continuous basis, that's when we do stupid things. And that's why, you know, we have divorce, we have men who cheat a lot, abuse, etc., right? All the things we label as problems now in modern relationships. So yeah, guys, that's why as a man, I don't think it's a good idea to date career women. But like I said, you do what you want, right? So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.